However, no official condition report there. And we just got word in that there has been an 8-car accident down on Route 23 in Pike County, but that's all the information we have there, and all of this because of icy roads. Well, elsewhere tonight, it's official. Street signs that now indicate Long Street will be changed within the next year to Martin Luther King Boulevard. And it was a hard-won battle for Columbus Councilman Ben Espy, and Sharon Cornegay was at the Columbus City Council meeting tonight for the fireworks.
It is time, says Ben Espy, time to recognize the life and dream of Martin Luther King. So the councilman picked Long Street as the fitting tribute. His colleagues agreed King deserves some honor, but not necessarily Long Street. Their sentiments were echoed by members of the audience.
Dr. Martin Luther King would not hold it against me to say that I do not want Long Street named after him, because he was not a man of pomp and pride and glitter.
Many have, as I do, up to 3 to 4 years of expensive forms, pamphlets, catalogs, order books, handout gifts, all promoting their Long Street locations.
Espy was not troubled by his critics. He says there are just as many people in favor of the name change.
Since the legislation is to be enacted a year from now, I would have assumed that most businesses would have used their stationery and letterhead, what have you. And of course, when reorders are made, it's very small expense to simply tell the printer to change the address.
Mayor Reinhardt offered to conduct a study of the name change, but Espy didn't want to put the vote off any longer. So the roll was called, and the final vote was 4-3 in favor of changing the name of the street. Opponents of the ordinance aren't accepting tonight's vote as a defeat. In fact, there's already talk of having the issue considered on a much wider scale on the ballot. Now, Councilman Ben Espy says he will try to sway some of his critics by seeking funds to landscape along King Boulevard before the name is officially changed in 1985. Sharon Cornegay, Eyewitness News.
Now, while the Columbus Council voted for the street name change, the body turned down an additional $2 million contract with its coal supplier for that troubled trash-burning power plant. The problem? Well, the city's just not satisfied with services that they're already getting from the company. The trash plant has had to burn more coal because there are problems with the garbage burning system. But plant officials say they haven't been able to get enough coal from their supplier, and that's forced the city to buy more expensive coal from other companies. Plant officials now want to bring charges against their original coal supplier. From the city to the suburbs on in Upper Arlington, City Council tonight there, the news is more of what did not happen. Firefighters were planning to show up in force to show that their displeasure at contract negotiations, which they claim were going nowhere at all. In fact, they were threatening to put up an invisible picket line around the city, canceling the agreement to have other city firefighting organizations automatically come to Upper Arlington in a fire emergency and vice versa. But none of that will happen after all. Upper Arlington and its firefighters have reached a tentative agreement tonight, and workers should vote on that new contract within a week. Well, one of the workers from the Zimmer nuclear power plant down near Cincinnati says tonight, you had to have your eyes closed not to see it coming. And what I'm talking about is the layoffs forced by the decision to switch Zimmer to a coal plant. But as Bob Orr found out today, even when layoffs are obvious, that really doesn't dull the pain very much.
Zimmer's cooling tower, a symbol of progress and jobs, but an eerie threat to public comfort. No more. 2,000 workers cleaned out their lockers today. Zimmer is closing down. They're out. Until the coal conversion job starts in 3 years, workers like Tony Hounshell will have to look elsewhere.
Wanted to pull, but didn't get a job. Had a bad weekend, bet on the Super Bowl, lost the Super Bowl, and lost my job. It's pretty bad. I don't know what I'm going to do now.
Good shot there, Hounshell. I was planning on getting married in May, and it's kind of a shock to me. I was, needing money, really. It's going to be good for some of the coal workers, I guess, but a lot of people around here, families and a lot of couples getting started, building new houses and stuff, it's really going to hurt them.
Bob Orr, Eyewitness News.
Now, when you figure that utility stocks are part of the backbone of investments, the news of Zimmer's conversion from nuclear to coal is having an impact on the stock market. Fallen stock prices for the 3 utilities went up slightly today, but analysts say that's because investors may be thinking that finally the utilities may have gotten themselves out of a hole, but that thinking may not last very long.
The euphoria of, hey, we don't have a nuclear plant and the stocks being up, that's strictly temporary. When the analysts dig into it and they start talking about what it's going to take, the dollars it's going to take, you're going to have the stocks continue under pressure.
Leonard told reporter Mike Horwitz that the words nuclear and investment aren't going hand in hand as they were a few years ago, And the Zimmer announcement follows on the heels of other recent problems in the nuke power industry, making investors pretty leery about it all, at least right now. And the news of a proposed bank merger involving Bank Ohio has investors in that Columbus-based company smiling tonight. Their stock jumped nearly 5 points today, from the mid-20s to over $30 a share, because of a merger offer from National City Bank of Cleveland. But for investors in general tonight, well, it's kind of a low night after the Dow Jones Industrials dropped more than 14 points today, and incidentally, that is the biggest fall of the year. The sophisticated analyst blames worries about interest rates. But you may remember our story from Friday night about the connection between stocks in the Super Bowl. When a team from the old AFL wins, stocks drop for the year. Well, the LA Raiders, an old AFL team, won yesterday's Super Bowl. For people in Ohio, there's a new weekly investment, playing the lotto. It's come to the suburbs, and that means a chance at some big bucks for everybody. We'll tell you about that coming up. Plus, from north of the border, the story of big lottery winners, $11 million. It's tax-free, and it's all next. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Honda would like to make a point about the new car. It goes an EPA estimated 51 miles per gallon. 67 highway. It's the #1 gas mileage car in America, period. The new Honda Civic CRX. The longest distance between 2 points.
The Coca-Cola Company would like to salute all the 1984 Olympic athletes. The Italians, the English, the Germans, the Swedes, the Africans, the Irish, the Chinese, the Mexicans, the Brazilians, the Greeks, the French, the Poles. All those athletes of every heritage who will wear the uniform of the United States Olympic team. To Coca-Cola, to all of America, you are it.
At last, the doctor's office that's open when you need one. MedFirst. We're open 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day of the year. So you can see a doctor fast for sudden illness or injury or family care. With or without an appointment. MedFirst has lab and x-ray. And we accept your insurance for covered services.
Visit MedFirst in Reynoldsburg, Westerville, Bethel Road, and Newark.
Here are 500 good reasons to play a buck on Ohio Lottery's daily number game. Have you played the number today?
Well, the state lottery is spending money to promote not only its numbers game, but also the lotto. Just a couple of months ago, you'll remember it was worth at least $250,000. That's what Ohioans were spending to pay it. But now it's worth at least $1 million to the state. And Denise Wasim reports tonight the lotto stakes are up because more people are trying their luck.
The sound of a lotto ticket being printed. It's music to the ears of Ohio lottery officials, and it's a hit tune that's playing across the state. In fact, sales have been up so much for the past 8 weeks, the minimum lotto jackpot jumped 4 times from the usual $250,000 to $1 million. Lottery officials say the game is tapping a whole new market.
Our new lotto player is a white-collar, middle to upper income bracket, and usually they're not the daily number player. Our daily game is for a blue-collar worker. Most of our terminals were concentrated on inner-city areas, so of course that's where the majority of the business was.
The state was counting on Lotto to take the lottery to the suburbs, and it's done just that. Lottery sales at this store near Upper Arlington have more than doubled, mostly because of Lotto. All this Lotto fever really started back in December, just before a Cleveland area man won the big jackpot of well over $7 million. Officials say 75% of the players who started the game then are still playing. Have you ever been close to winning?
I've picked 4 numbers, 3 different kinds.
So you have won a little bit of money on it?
A little bit. Not enough.
Of course, those growing jackpots are behind Lotto's appeal. By the way, since no one claimed last week's pot, this week it will be worth an estimated $2.9 million. Denise Wasim, Eyewitness News.
On the other hand, for a full week now, a lot of people have been wondering who won North America's biggest lotto payoff from the Canadian lottery. Well, tonight, the mystery is over, and the winners are a truck driver and his wife from Brantford, Ontario. Lillian Kelly says she thought she was going to have a heart attack last week when she realized that they had won. Her husband, Stuart, told her to hide the ticket and relax, but first he wanted her to tell him just where she'd hidden the winning ticket. It's worth almost $14 million in tax dollars. It's tax-free, and a little more than $11 million in U.S. currency. Well, some area farmers are also going for the big bucks, and they're going after the big bucks, and in this particular case, they want the money from Uncle Sam. Circleville farmer David Bowling, along with other area farmers, have filed a $6 billion, that's billion with the B, dollar lawsuit in federal court here in Columbus. That suit is charging that the system has ripped off farmers to the tune of $6 billion. They're talking about the credit system. Well, it may be a while before that case gets to court, but down in Logan, they'll be going back into the courtroom tomorrow as the Dale Johnston trial moves into day 8. The prosecution expected to wind up its case in the next couple of days, and there's some speculation when the defense gets to its lawyers, well, they'll immediately ask for an acquittal. Johnston is accused of the mutilation murder of his stepdaughter and her boyfriend. When we come back, giving your car a bath. It could save you a bundle in body repair this spring. Back in a moment. Stay with us.
If there's anything farmers can depend on, it's long hours, hard work, and the need for reliable long-term credit, the kind offered by the Land Bank. You see, the Land Bank is owned by farmers, so they understand farming. They make loans for purposes like land purchase and improvements on terms tailored to farmers' needs. Farmers helping farmers. That's the Land Bank.
When you make the land your life, come to the Land Bank.
Listen up. I'll meet you in Philly. Philly? That's right, kid. You heard me. Philly.
Everybody goes to Rack's for the new Philly sandwich. 2 Phillies? Juicy roast beef, Swiss cheese, sautéed mushrooms, peppers, and onions. New and only at Rack's. When you think Philly, head for Rack's.
Surely, I'd rather Rack's. Wouldn't you?
Up here, there's no room for mistakes. Same goes for my income taxes. So I go to H&R Block.
People who know their business go to H&R Block.
My tax guy is on top of everything. He's trained to know every form, every deduction, you name it. He doesn't cost me much, and the guy really earns his money. Hey, neither construction work to me, and a tax work to Block.
People who know their business go to H&R Block.
Well, this weather is doing nothing for our roads right now. The changing temperatures making more and more bumps and potholes, and it's not exactly doing anything for our cars either. All that salt and slush gives them that nice brown tinted finish. Car washes take that off all right, at least temporarily. But getting that stuff off the body sure makes your car look good. However, it's not enough in this part of the country. You know, that double rust can eat our cars and get them in the body shops in less than 2 years if you're not careful.
If you go to the car washes and spray them out underneath the fenders and stuff, it'll help a lot. If you rust-proof them when they're brand new, it'll help a lot also.
Now, if you think a little spot of rust is no big deal,
we've had for the past several days. Temperatures in the 30s in the state of Ohio right now, with one exception, Marietta being quite a bit warmer than the other reporting stations. Now, tomorrow, this cold front will continue pushing right on through Ohio, and by tomorrow evening it should be well to the east of the state of Ohio, taking most of that precipitation and the freezing precipitation along with it. May snow for a while in the morning here in lower Michigan, rain or snow mix here in northern Ohio, drizzle in Indiana, rain in Kentucky, drizzle in West Virginia, rain in western Pennsylvania, and generally from central Ohio south, it should be mostly rain tomorrow. Now, travelers' advisories for snow, sleet, freezing rain combination tonight should be worse up in this area where temperatures are just a bit colder. Here's a quick glance now at the WBNS weather radar showing that rain is just about surrounding the city of Columbus, and it is throughout most of the state at this time. Here's the forecast. For tonight, rain, possibly a little sleet, low temperature just above freezing or very close to. Tomorrow, rain and snow north, rain in central and south. Then, as we look ahead to Wednesday, mostly cloudy with a low of 30 and a high of 40. Here's the outlook. Fair on Thursday, snow or chance of snow on Friday, rain or snow on Saturday, and the long range next Sunday through Wednesday, cold and snowy. That would mean we would go back in with high temperatures in the teens and 20s. So January isn't over yet.
You know, and it's so inconsistent. Just take a look at 48 hours ago.
That's
the
right.
difference we have.
That's right.
Okay, thanks, Joe. There is some real good news out of Chicago tonight. That 4-year-old boy who was submerged in icy Lake Michigan for 20 minutes last week. Remember that story in these pictures? Well, he has emerged from a coma. Doctors say it's really too early to tell whether the boy has suffered brain damage, but a brain scan has shown his brain functioning as normal tonight. The little boy was in a coma for 8 days. When we come back on the news tonight, this is Super Monday, the day after Super Sunday, and the day they start playing with all of the numbers that you don't see on the scoreboard. Gary Radnich with the sports. Back in a moment. Stay with us.
Millions of Americans are so intimidated by our legal system, they don't get a lawyer even when they need one. At Hyatt Legal Services, we make getting an experienced lawyer as easy as coming to one of our convenient offices. You can discuss your problem with an attorney for only $20. And we have standard fees for cases like divorce, bankruptcy, and wills. At Hyatt Legal Services, personal service at reasonable fees is how we make the system work for you.
Hyatt Legal Services has offices throughout the area. Call the one nearest you for an appointment.
Your Lincoln Mercury dealers have a commitment to quality. The 1984 Mercury Cougar. Success breeds success. Cougar is one of the most successful cars in America today. We're out to make Topaz our next success. The Central Ohio area has over 350 Cougar and Topaz models in inventory. And factory-to-dealer incentives allow participating dealers to pass along savings. Savings that show in low prices. Out-the-door prices posted on windshields. At your Lincoln Mercury dealer.
No matter what the problem is, the solution's in the GTE Yellow Pages.
The G-men are patting themselves on the back tonight. The FBI is calling its latest cocaine bust the biggest in U.S. history. The feds have indicted 53 people in 4 different cities and are accusing them of smuggling $4 billion worth of that white powder into the United States. Well, what was rumored this weekend is official tonight. Attorney General William French Smith has stepped down, and he's saying that he's proud of his accomplishments. And in his place, presidential advisor Edward Meese. Some Democrats are questioning Meese's record on civil rights tonight, but Meese says that he will be confirmed by the Senate as long as politics don't get in the way of Senate confirmation hearings. And the president got a political boost from some 50,000 abortion opponents who rallied in our nation's capital. In fact, there you just saw, they even got a long-distance wave from Reagan, who they say they'll support in 1984. That protest, of course, marks the 11th anniversary of the Supreme Court's decision upholding a woman's right to abortion. Well, it's time now for the 11 o'clock edition, Eyewitness Sports, and here's Gary Radnich. Playing with the numbers tonight, huh?
Some fellas out in Vegas, Dave, did not buy steak dinners last evening.
I mean, they didn't have the money to pay for them? Was that?
The money was lost. Las Vegas gambling establishments report tonight that yesterday's Raiders Super Bowl victory over Washington caused them to suffer the greatest financial loss in their history. An estimated $5 million was lost as Los Angeles, a 3-point underdog, routed Washington. As for the television ratings, the major TV markets are reporting a decline in the audience from last season's Redskins-Miami Super Bowl. As you see Henry Lawrence and Rod Martin smooch the Super Bowl trophy, we want to tell you, but 35 people welcomed the Redskins back at a Washington, D.C. airport tonight. What do you call it, fair weather fans, Dave? Too cold. Too cold, all right. Are you aware that the United States Football League opened their training camps today? And as seems to be the norm, the New Jersey Generals seem to make the most of the news, signing 5 new players, including former NFL cornerback Monty Jackson. Speaking of the USFL and the Generals, Pete Johnson is threatening to go to New Jersey. If his Bengals salary is not doubled, Johnson earned a report of $125,000 last season. The big fullback has 1 year remaining on his current Bengals contract. 4th-ranked Georgetown and Boston College cranking it up tonight in college basketball. Look at Pat Ewing on the slam. That was one of his 13 rebounds, 2 of his 15 points. Is it Ewing or Elijah, your All-America center? Ewing says, Ratty, how about me? Georgetown, 92. Boston College, 83. Here are the new AP college rankings. North Carolina and DePaul remain 1-2. Kentucky moves up to 3rd. Georgetown, who you just saw. Then Maryland, who Ohio State beat early in the year. Nevada, Las Vegas is 6th. Then Houston, Texas, El Paso, Illinois, representing the Big Ten, and LSU. Shoot 16 of 26 from the field, 15 of 16 from the free throw line, grabbed 15 rebounds, and throw in 4 assists, odds are good things will come your way. Along with victories over Michigan and Michigan State, Tony Campbell has been named Big Ten Player of the Week. Campbell and the Buckeyes host Iowa Thursday night. Cleveland free agent pitcher Larry Sorensen is leaving Ohio for the lure of Oakland Green. Sorensen has signed a 1-year deal for $450,000. While the Los Angeles Dodgers, they have re-signed their second baseman Steve Sack to a multi-year contract. That happened tonight. The Cincinnati Reds in recent years have been a tale of woe, but every new season brings with it a ray of hope. And with the addition of Dave Parker, hope springs eternal in the Reds camp. What type of individual is Cincinnati's new right fielder?
Well, I think that, the shaving, for one thing, gave me a new image. Being conservative, I've always been basically conservative off the field, but you still see the flashy one-hand catches, and I think some of the flash that I display on the field. But basically what you see here now is Dave Parker in general.
Ohio State announced they have signed a trio of quarterbacks from northeastern Ohio. Future Buckeyes are Tom Tupa, Gary Cliff, and a fellow by the name of Scott Cliff. And we look forward to seeing everyone tomorrow night at the Brookside Country Club for the annual Worthington J-Seeds Awards Banquet. Girls winners tonight in basketball, DeSales and Upper Arlington. And that's going to be a good banquet tomorrow night, the J.C.'s, Dave.
Okay. There could have been a traffic tie-up, too, at the airport. They all couldn't have got there.
35 people only showed. Hey, if you're watching a Redskins fan, that's embarrassing.
It's either too cold or traffic tie-up, Gary, one or the other. Musicians from the Columbus Symphony Orchestra sounded off a bit tonight, but they weren't in concert. Symphony musicians got together for a closed-door meeting this evening, and they're apparently worried about some of the big changes in store for the